Hello friends, organic synthesis mainly depends upon the name reactions as well as reagents. The number of reagents which are functioning as a dehydrating agent, oxidizing agent, reducing agent, they are used in the organic synthesis to produce a product which are beneficial for the human beings. So in this lecture we will discuss one of the reagent which is used for the oxidation purpose, and this reagent is selenium dioxide. Its molecular formula is SeO2, whereas its structural formula is Sc double bond oxygen, and here there is also double bond oxygen. So the valency of this selenium is 4, or we called it as a plus 4. It causes the oxidation of different compounds, and we get a hydroxy compound as a product or a carbonyl compound as a product. In this lecture, we will discuss the preparation of selenium dioxide, its characteristics, how it causes the oxidation, and which product is obtained, or on what position it will attack in the oxidation process. Then how it works, that is mechanism of selenium dioxide oxidation and the application of selenium dioxide in the organic synthesis. All this point we are going to discuss in this lecture. So let's begin with a preparation. In the preparation, a selenium is directly burned in the air so that it gets converted into the selenium dioxide. This selenium dioxide, it is a toxic one, and that's why it is used in a little amount in the organic synthesis or in an oxidation process. When it dissolves in water, it forms a H2SeO3, is an acid. As it is a toxic in nature and used in a little amount, we have to reuse this selenium dioxide after the reaction. That's why selenium dioxide is always used in combination with a peroxide. It may be a H2O2 or tertiary butyl peroxide. So that will causes the conversion of SeOH into SeO2. After the reaction, this SeO2 is converted into SeOH twice, and this SeOH twice is further converted into SeO2 by a peroxide. Then we will see the characteristics of this selenium dioxide. Being oxidizing agent, selenium dioxide is used for the oxidation of number of compounds. These are the characteristics of selenium dioxide. It is used in the oxidation of alkyne, where it gives a product, that is diketone or a ketoacid. This diketone is observed when the alkyne is internal one, and if the terminal alkyne is present, it is going to convert into a ketoacid. Along with the oxidation of alkyne, it shows the oxidation of carbonyl compounds, and in that carbonyl compound, it should have a alpha carbon, and this alpha carbon, it may converted into a C double bond O, or it is going to convert into CHO. It depends upon how many hydrogens which are attached on this alpha carbon. It also useful in the oxidation of allylic and benzylic carbon. This carbon, they are converted into a corresponding hydroxyl group. So there is a allylic and benzylic hydroxylation in presence of ACO2. In this hydroxylation, the oxidation occurs at a more substituted site always, and when there is oxidation at a more substituted site, this oxidation involves a E-selectivity. Therefore, these three characteristics they are depends on each other. If there is a hydroxylation, it occurs at more substituted site, and when it occurs at more substituted site, there should be a formation of E isomer rather than Z isomer. In a cyclic compound, when there is a choice of oxidation, suppose cyclic ring is attached with the side chain, then the oxidation occurs always inside the ring, not outside the ring. Along with this oxidation, the SiO2 or selenium dioxide is used for the dehydrogenation process, and also it is used as a catalyst in the trans-hydroxylation process. So these are the characteristics, and these characteristics along with the example we are going to see in the applications of the SiO2. To understand the application or to understand these characteristics, we have to go through the mechanism of this SiO2 or how the SiO2 carried out the oxidation. So next part is the mechanism of SiO2 oxidation. To understand the mechanism of SiO2 oxidation, let us take the example of allylic hydroxylation, and for that purpose, I will write here the compound that is CH3, which is attached with the CH, which is further attached with the CH2. This is the one propane, and in this one propane, uh, these two carbon they are joined by a double bond, and this carbon which is attached to this carbon is known as an allylic carbon. So there is a presence of allylic carbon or alpha carbon which is attached to this double bond. Therefore, there is a possibility of allylic hydroxylation. Allylic hydroxylation when it is treated with SiO2. So in presence of SiO2 and dioxin, when SiO2 is used, generally the dioxin or tetrahydrofuran, that is THF, or ether, they are used as a solvent. In this case, dioxin is used. Then what happens? This CH3 group is converted into OH, that is CH2OH. So there is a allylic hydroxylation occurs in presence of SiO2. This CH3 group is converted into CH2OH. Now, this allylic hydroxylation or oxidation occurs through a mechanism which involves two reactions. That is, first one is in reaction and 2,3 sigma-trophic reaction. So we will start with the mechanism of this SiO2 oxidation. I am writing this propane once again and in a different manner. Here I will put CH2 which is attached to one hydrogen, then remaining structure as it is. It reacts with the selenium dioxide. This is the formula of selenium dioxide. And in the first step, this in reaction occurs. In the in reaction, the electron from this carbon hydrogen bond, they are shifted here, and there is a formation of carbon double bond carbon. Simultaneously, this double bond attacks on the selenium, and this hydrogen is abstracted by the oxygen, so that we get a in reaction. I will write here in reaction, and after in reaction, in this in reaction there is the electron redistribution and the formation of new bonds and breaking of a sigma bond between carbon and hydrogen, so that we get a compound which is having structure carbon double bond carbon is there, then CH, then Here it is a CH2 which is attached to a selenium. Here double bond oxygen and here single bond OH. Now what happens? In the second step, there is a 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement reaction. For that purpose, we have to rotate this carbon selenium bond, and after rotation, we get a CH2 double bond CH, then CH2 here, selenium as it is, but double bond oxygen came on this side and OH group on this side. So just rotation of this bond, and then sigma tropic rearrangement occurs. Now here this carbon is numbered as a 1, then it is second and it is third, whereas this is 1 and it is second. Now here it is a 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement. This 1 2 it indicates 2, and this 1 2 3 it indicates 3. Now what happens in 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement? This bond is broken down and there is a formation of a bond between this oxygen and this carbon, and this double bond is shifted here, so that we have to write an arrow which indicate the attack of this oxygen on the carbon, and there is a migration of this double with the breaking of this carbon selenium bond, and after we get a CH2 here which is attached to oxygen, then a selenium, then OH, carbon, and here there is a double bond CH2. In this way, after 2,3 sigma tropic rearrangement, we get this type of compound. Then now a water molecule, it will attack on the selenium. Why selenium? Because it contains vacant d orbital. These d orbitals are vacant one. That's why the oxygen attacks on this selenium, and there is a breaking of this selenium oxygen bond, and we get a CH2, then CH double bond CH2 here, and O minus plus. Selenium is attached with OH group here, then H, and here H. Oxygen contains a positive charge. This hydrogen is removed as a H plus ion, which are transferred to this oxygen, and finally we get here OH which is attached to CH2, CH double bond CH2 plus a selenium OH, and here OH. In this way, the oxidation in presence of SiO2 is happening, and in that process the CH3 group is converted into CH2OH. It is called as a allylic hydroxylation, but this selenium dioxide is converted into selenium hydroxide, and therefore we have to convert this selenium dihydroxide into selenium dioxide. For that purpose, along with this SiO2, one has to use a peroxide, H2O2 or tertiary butyl peroxide, which will convert this selenium dihydroxide into SiO2. In this way, one propene can be converted into one propanol. Being an oxidizing agent, selenium dioxide has number of applications, and out of which first one is oxidation of alkyne. We know that alkynes, they are of two types. One is terminal alkyne and another is internal alkyne. The oxidation of alkyne occurs in such a way that it gives two types of product. The product will be a diketone or it will be a keto acid, and this product depends upon the structure of alkyne. Suppose alkyne is a diphenyl acetylene. In diphenyl acetylene, a triple bond, that is carbon triple bond carbon, is present in between two phenyl group. That's why it is an internal alkyne, and when it is treated with SiO2 along with H2SO4, the carbon triple bond carbon is going to convert or it is going to oxidize into a diketone, and which is having a structure that is C6H5 CO CO C6H5. It is known as a benzene. So here we get the oxidation of carbon triple bond carbon into a diketone is C double bond O C double bond O. Let us consider another example in which we will take a terminal alkyne, and the example is a phenyl acetylene. Here it is a phenyl acetylene, and when it is treated with SiO2 and in presence of H2SO4, similar case is happening here, and carbon triple bond carbon is going to convert into a C double bond O C double bond O, but in this alkyne, on one side there is a presence of hydrogen, and in place of hydrogen the OH group came. That's why we get a structure that is C6H5 C double bond O C double bond O and finally OH, and it is known as a keto acid. Name of this acid is phenyl glyoxylic acid. In this way, carbon triple bond carbon is always converted into C double bond O C double bond O, and if there is a hydrogen it is converted into OH, and if there are alkyl group on both sides they remains as it is. In this way, oxidation of alkyne either gives diketone or a keto acid, which depends upon the structure of alkyne. Internal alkyne gives diketone and terminal alkyne gives a keto acid. Along with this, uh, selenium dioxide is used for the oxidation of carbonyl compound. Oxidation of carbonyl compound. But in case of carbonyl compound, the compound should possesses a alpha carbon, and the oxidation occurs at alpha carbon. This oxidation is also known as relay oxidation. It is known as a relay oxidation. Now, let us take the example of CH3CHO. It is acetaldehyde. When this acetaldehyde is treated with a selenium dioxide and dioxin as a solvent, here this is the functional group that is carbonyl, and this is the alpha carbon, and this alpha carbon contains a 3 hydrogen, and this methyl group is going to convert into aldehyde. One carbon remains as it is, and a CH2 group is converted into a CO. So in this reaction, a CH2 is converted into carbonyl compound or carbonyl group, and we get a corresponding glyoxal. Now we will take the example of another carbonyl compound in which we will take a CH3, a CH2, then here we will put a CHO. It is propionaldehyde. Similar condition in presence of SiO2, and after oxidation. The oxidation occurs at this carbon because it is alpha carbon, and we know that CH2 is converted into CO. That's why we get a CH3CO, a CHO, this type of compound. And it is known as methyl glyazole. Methyl glyazole. Similarly, a ketone, they can be converted into corresponding product, and we take the example of a CH3CO CH3, that is, it is dimethyl ketone or known as SC2, SCO2. It is converted into a CH3 here, CO, and this alpha carbon is going to convert into CHO. So once again we get here a methyl glyoxal. So we get a conversion of a CH3 group into a C double bond O H. That is, CH3 group is converted into CHO, and if there is a presence of CH2, it is going to convert into C double bond O. In this way, oxidation of carbonyl compound. These are the simple examples of the aldehyde and ketones. We will take the examples of active methylene compounds as well as cyclic compounds. Now, let us consider a diethyl malonate. It is also a carbonyl compound, but it is having a diester group. It is a diethyl malonate. And in this compound, there is a presence of a CH2 group. And this group is sandwiched between two electron withdrawing group. That's why it is called as a active methylene group, or and in this compound is called as the active methylene compound. We know that SiO2 causes the oxidation of CH2 into CO. I will write here the name is diethyl malonate. Just we have to convert this CH2 group into CO, and the remaining structure as it is. So the name of this compound is diethyl mesoxalate. Mesoxalate. We will focus on this CH2 only. Remaining structure is as it is. Just there is a conversion of this CH2 group into C double bond O. Let's take the example of cyclic ketone, that is cyclohexanone. It is treated with SiO2. We know that there is a presence of alpha carbon on this side, on this side also. One of the alpha carbon or CH2 group is going to convert into CO, and that's why we will get this type of compound, that is a diketone. So cyclohexanone is converted into a corresponding cyclic diketone. In this way, one can oxidize a CH2 group or CH3 group using a selenium dioxide, in which there occurs a relay oxidation. Third application, that is allylic and benzylic hydroxylation. This application is very much important because it involves the oxidation at more substituted site, and it is involving the E-selectivity of the SiO2, that is selenium dioxide. First, we have to know what is the allylic and benzylic position. Let us consider the example, that is CH3. It is attached to CH double bond CH2, and another example in which I will write a benzene ring and it is further attached with the CH3. Now this carbon and this carbon, they are involved in the double bond formation, and on this carbon there is a presence of CH3. This carbon is known as alpha carbon and this carbon is known as allylic carbon, the carbon which is attached to the double bonded carbon. And in this compound the phenyl group is attached to methyl. This methyl group is known as a benzylic methyl, or this carbon is known as a benzylic carbon. In this way, either allylic or benzylic carbon, they are directly attached with the double bonded carbon, and on this carbon there occurs hydroxylation. So after hydroxylation, what happens? Here we get a compound which is having a structure like this, or in this compound we will get a CH2OH. This type of hydroxylation is known as allylic and benzylic hydroxylation. So one propene can be converted into one propanol. This toluene can be converted into benzyl alcohol in presence of SiO2. This is known as the allylic and benzylic hydroxylation. Let us consider the different examples to have a clear look on the allylic and benzylic hydroxylation. First example, we will take a carbon double bond carbon, and on one side there is a presence of CH3 groups, and another side there is a presence of hydrogen, and here we will write a CH3. Now one cannot say it is a cis or a trans because there is a presence of similar group on one carbon, but after hydroxylation, what will happen? We know that SiO2 causes hydroxylation of the alpha carbon, and one rule is there, uh, oxidation occurs at more substituted site that we have studied in the characteristics of this SiO2 oxidation. So this carbon is having only CH3, but this carbon is having two CH3. Therefore, this side is more substitutable. Therefore, the hydroxylation may occur at this carbon or this carbon. So we will write two products. First product is CH3CH double bond C. Then suppose oxidation occurs at this side, then this CH3 is converted into CH2OH. And the second product I will write CH3H, then double bond. Here CH3 remains as it is, and here we get CH2OH. Now there are different groups attached on a carbon. This carbon possesses CH3H, this carbon possesses CH3, CH2OH. This carbon possesses first priority because atomic number is greater than this hydrogen possesses second priority. On this side, there is a presence of oxygen, therefore this possesses first priority, this possesses second. On this compound, priority will be like this, first and second. Now we know that the priority group, same priority group on a same side, it means that this compound has a Z configuration, and when the priority they are on a different side or opposite to each other, then this compound is known to be the E isomer. And we know that in a SiO2 oxidation we get a E isomer as a major product. So from this compound we can conclude that the oxidation occurs at more substituted site and it gives a E isomer as a product, as a major product, and Z as a minor product. In this way, two characteristics we have studied or we have clarified here. The next example we will take for benzylic hydroxylation. This is phenyl ring. then it is attached to the ethene. It undergoes oxidation. We know that this is a benzylic carbon and it is going to convert into the CHOH. So I will write the direct product here. Here CH, then OH, and then CH3. In this way, we get a corresponding benzoylic hydroxylate. Suppose this is the example. CH3 group is directly attached with the CH2, then CH2, then CH, double bond CH2. Now, in this compound, what will happen? SiO2 oxidation, we know that this is the allylic carbon and we will get this type of product CH3, then CH2 here, a CHOH, then a CH double bond CH2. It is expected product according to our mechanism, expected product. But here there is a rearrangement occurs and we get a different product in which the allylic migration occurs. That is, this double bond is going to migrate from this position to this position, and when this happens, we will get a different product. And here, the OH group is attached on the last carbon. It is known as the allylic migration. It is known as a allylic migration or allylic rearrangement, and we get a different product. This product is a major one in this case. So along with the hydroxylation, there is a allylic rearrangement also in case of SiO2 oxidation. Now consider another examples. I will write a cyclic compounds which is having a structure cyclohexene. This cyclohexene, when it is treated with SiO2 in presence of dioxin as a solvent, we know that there are two allylic position. This is first and this is second. And here we get one of the allylic position hydroxylated, that is OH, and it is further converted into C double bond O. So we get this type of compound also. Now in this allylic and benzylic hydroxylation, one should keep in mind always a CH2 group is oxidized first, then CH3, then CH. So we will take the examples. Here I will write a structure of the compound which is having a CH2 as well as CH3 group. Suppose a CH3 is attached here, then carbon, hydrogen, double bond. Here a CH3, then it possesses CH2 and CH3. In this example, the SiO2 oxidation prefers a CH2 group rather than CH3 group. So we will get a structure of the product like this: CH double bond C, then CH3, here a CHOH and CH3. It is a allylic hydroxylation which prefers a CH2 group rather than CH3. In this way, allylic and benzylic hydroxylation gives corresponding allyl alcohols or benzyl alcohols. Whatever may be the structure, we have to oxidize a allylic CH2 group or a CH3 group into corresponding alcohols. In addition to this, if you consider a structure like this, that is cyclic structure, and here there is a double bond and it possesses a CH3 group. This is the typical example from which you can understand the various characteristics of the SiO2 oxidation. Now, look at the allylic positions. Here there is a presence of CH3. Here there is a presence of allylic carbon, that is CH2. Then on this side there is a presence of allylic carbon or alpha carbon to this double bond. So there are three choices where oxidation can occur. Now there are three rules: oxidation at more substituted side, then Second rule, oxidation of CH2 rather than CH3. And third rule, we have studied these characteristics, that is oxidation preferably occurs inside the ring, not outside, not outside. Now apply these three characteristics to this compound. Oxidation occurs at more substituted side. Here there is a presence of hydrogen, therefore this side is more substituted. Here there is a presence of CH3 and CH2, therefore oxidation may occur at this side. And third rule or third characteristic says that oxidation should occur inside the ring. So on this carbon, oxidation should occur, not outside. That's why we will get hydroxylation, and in which the OH group came on this carbon and remaining structure as it is. Therefore, if there are choices of allylic position, one should keep in mind more substituted side CH2 rather than CH3 and inside the ring. In this way, the SiO2 causes oxidation in a cyclic compound. Now we will see the next application, that is dehydrogenation. Hydrogenation is nothing but the removal of hydrogen, and removal of hydrogen is also called as a oxidation. So for this we have to take a typical example, that is benzyl alcohol, that is CH2OH. And this benzyl alcohol, when it is treated with SiO2, there is a removal of hydrogen, and this benzyl alcohol is converted into benzaldehyde. So there is a oxidation of this benzyl alcohol into the benzaldehyde, and it is nothing but a dehydrogenation process in presence of SiO2. Last application of this SiO2 is it acts as a catalyst in a trans-hydroxylation process. So trans-hydroxylation process is nothing but the addition of OH group across double bond, but this OH group, they are opposite to each other. For this purpose, we have to take the example of malic acid, CH double bond CH, and this carbon is attached to COOH, and this carbon also attached to COOH. It is called as a malic acid. Malic acid. When this SiO2 is used in combination with H2O2, this CH double bond CH group is converted into a OH, here also OH, and COOH. It is nothing but the hydroxylation process, but this OH and this OH group, they are opposite to each other. In this way, a trans-hydroxylation occurs to give corresponding dihydroxy compound. And this trans-hydroxylation occurs in a oleic acid also, and oleic acid is converted into stearic acid. In a oleic acid, there are 18 carbon, including a COOH group. Here there is a presence of COOH group. This is first carbon, second, third, fourth, fifth, 7, 9, 11, then 13, here 15, here 17. Here I will write 6, 8, 10, then 12, 14 and 16, and there is a presence of double bond between this 9 and 10 carbon. This is the structure of oleic acid, and this oleic acid, when it is treated with SiO2 in presence of H2O2, it causes hydroxylation at this carbon, and we will get a 9,10 dihydroxy steric acid. And structure of this steric acid, I will write here once again. There is a presence of 18 carbon, including COOH group. Now we have to write a 2 hydroxy group at this carbon and this carbon, so that I will remove this and this. So I will redraw the carbon here, and I will put here hydroxy group on this side and on this side. It is known as a 9,10 dihydroxy steric acid, and this OH group, they are trans to each other. Therefore, it is a trans 9,10 dihydroxy steric acid. In this way, trans hydroxylation is also possible in presence of ACO2. With this, we will wind up this lecture, and we will see a new reagent in the next lecture.